26th of April, 1986. Disaster strikes at the Chernobyl power plant. Two huge explosions take place due to a malfunction, causing the biggest nuclear explosion in history. More than 30 years later, the effects can still be seen, and according to scientists, the place where the accident once took place is still the world's second most toxic site, surpassed only recently by the Mario Maker 2 vs Discord. Gaming communities suck. They almost always do. Oh, you've been a part of this cool games fandom for a while now and think to yourself, man, these people are awesome? Here, have a controversy. And another one. And alright, I think you get the point by now. It's just something about social circles dominated by gamers being doomed to fail, which is why I'm so incredibly thankful for how nice the Mario Maker community is. Seriously, we got way too lucky. And because of this, the Versus community just sticks out like a sore thumb. Let me start off by saying that Versus mode had very slim chances of not turning toxic from the beginning. Here's why. The biggest reason is that you compete against others, meaning that there is people directly responsible for your losses. This is not the case in the biggest part of the Mario Maker community, the Kaizo community for example, where the only one responsible is you, or at worst, RNG. The people losing a match have someone to direct their rage against. This can be seen in almost all competitive games, and there really is very little the developers can do to stop this, because unstable people will always play your game. The second problem is that there is a ranking system in place for a game mode that is largely determined by luck. This is however an issue that the community wouldn't have to face had they taken some measures. We'll get to those later on. The third issue is that, as is the case with the vast majority of games, you go into a match with the expectation of winning, and thus a loss is unexpected and therefore very frustrating. Returning to the Kaizo community comparison, when you enter a very hard level, you don't expect to win. In fact, you expect to lose. Nobody is gonna smash their controller to the ground as a result from dying to the first shell jump of U-break. And for almost all of your playtime, those are the types of deaths that you will be dealing with. Even Yatanais aren't a complete loss, since having one is at the very least a sign of consistency. The fourth issue is very similar to my last point, net losses. It is possible to end a session having regressed in points. Nobody wants that, and so people will keep playing just one more match to return to their score at the start of the session. But that isn't what happens. Instead, you regress even further, until eventually you have to call it a day after having wasted countless hours of your life only for you to have gone backwards. Former Versus player Enshade claims to have once played for 12 hours straight because of a situation like this. And even after half a day, the only reason why he quit was the power going out. Now all of that sounds horrible already, but the Versus community managed to make things even worse. Remember how I said that the issue about ranking being in place for a game mode largely about luck could have been avoided? Yeah, and here's how. Don't make the point of Versus at the highest level about your global ranking. I can't believe this even needs to be said. Imagine if all professional esports athletes did was play matches against random people. That's a horrible idea on so many levels, and the root cause of so many issues. Why do you think Lounge exists for Mario Kart? What should have been done was creating an official league with a separate scoring system and levels that were created for the purpose of competing. Now people did attempt to do something similar in the form of tournaments towards the start, but those quickly died out. But let's talk about the scoring system for a bit. As you may know, the amount of points that you lose after a match depends on if it was a hard or soft loss. The TLDR being that on levels featuring a goal pole, it is possible to grab the pole for a certain amount of time after the winner does. Doing this makes you lose only a fraction of the points that you would otherwise lose. When people realized this, some players started intentionally waiting at the goal to give their opponents a soft loss. This is cool, and there's absolutely no problem with it. But unfortunately, waiting quickly turned from something you do out of the goodness of your heart to something you have to do, or otherwise the community absolutely rips you into pieces. Popular Twitch streamer Paco once posted a clip of himself playing Versus, and in that clip, he did not wait. Versus players quickly rushed to the comments to lecture him about how he is supposed to play the game. Finally, I wanted to quickly touch on the topic of lag. The way that Nintendo programmed Versus mode is that the player with the worst connection in a game dictates the speed of it. And it seems like there is no limit to how slow it can get. No, seriously, it isn't an anomaly to have a match with a real life to in-game time ratio of 5 minutes to 1 second. Just look at this. Over time, people started blocking those who they thought had a poor connection, and there was even an official lag list created. You wanna know the bad part? Completely innocent people were put on there. But it goes even further than that. Conspiracy theories were made about so-called lag switches. The gist of it is that some people think that some players turn a magic switch after they die, which worsens their connection, bringing the game to a halt. I know this sounds completely crazy, but there are actual Versus players who believe in this. And then there's this. Mamma mia. I could go on and on about how awful the Versus community is, but writing this script has made me way too angry already. The only upside to Versus mode even existing is that by following these people, you get some daily comedy straight into your Twitter timeline. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. I will see you in the next video.